Often the victims of drug dealing are not those that one would expect. The following story presents a growing problem.
We got where we are today through mostly the actions of my daughter. We have been homeless now since January of this year. We had a house here in Eureka and we were doing just fine. My daughter came to live with us in June of 2013. She kind of got in with the wrong crowd, and due to the fact that my daughter was selling meth and heroin out of our garage. And so the authorities were not involved, thank goodness, but it has caused me to lose the one only house that I ever had. We were evicted in January of this year. My daughter, my granddaughter's mom, just left and abandoned her. She doesn't have a father in the picture, and she hasn't had her mother in the picture for about 8-9 months now. And so we are raising Dorothy the best we can. We've been homeless since January. We've had some help, but we've mostly been on the street, and we are still trying to recover from being put out of our house. We have had some help from friends. We have been trying to get back on our feet. Arthur has had some health issues. He had 2 stents put in his heart back in February. I, right after that, was diagnosed with MRSA, and I had to have my right toe, my right great toe amputated due to MRSA. MRSA is a staph infection that is in everyone's body, but it's more prevalent in diabetics. I am a diabetic. I'm not insulin dependent, but I had a blister on the bottom of my toe that never healed, and I was diagnosed at St. Joseph Hospital with 2 staph infections. One I don't remember, but the other is MRSA. They put me on antibiotics and tried to save my toe, but the infection went all the way to the bone, and so I did have to have it amputated in April. And I've been recovering from that while being homeless. It's been tough, but we are a close family unit. My husband, Arthur, my granddaughter, Dorothy, and I and our dog are just about as tight-knit as we can be. We want to be together, we stay together, and we are very grateful for everything that we've had happen for us, all the help that we've had. We have had some really tough times, though. We have been sleeping in our car, and we have a storage unit to be able to keep our belongings. We periodically stay at Motel 6 when we have the money, and that was we would stop and stay there for a couple of days to be able to clean up and do our basic, like washing and drying clothes and having hot meals and trying to make it a little bit more normal for Dorothy.
Well, I'm kind of looking out for Sharon and Dorothy, doing with Health and Human Services that provides money for Dorothy. I've gotten medical help for her through, and because of that, we found out that Dorothy has a lower active thyroid, and she also has high blood sugars, which she's on medication for both. And just trying to provide as best I can. You know, I'm a vet of two services, Vietnam and the Coast Guard. I was in Vietnam in the Army. So we're working on that through the veterans to try to get me a claim for money, and that's been since November of last year that has been going on. I talked to them recently, and they're going to be talking with the homeless advocate at the Veterans Administration to try to get that passed through. It's just that it's been very, very tough living in a car, and like Sharon was saying about, we do stay in a motel when we can, but it has been tough, and you know, I just trying to do the best I can for them, what little I can. I have a heart problem. I have 2 stents put in my heart. There was 3 they were talking about, but the third one, it was so clogged they couldn't put a 3rd stent in. I'm stabilized right now. I'm doing pretty well. In fact, my last report was I was doing maybe 9% better than originally thought to do. And I walk as much as I can, which helps me a lot. I don't always get to eat properly, but none of us do, for that matter. I may be evaluated from the VA. I don't know that with this homeless advocate, she may be able to cut through a lot of that stuff, so they can just zip through it without having to go through being processed, you know, but being looked at. Maybe my paperwork will be enough to get that. My advocate down at the vet's office down at the courthouse was telling me about it. She's been moving on this too. She's the one who notified me about talking to the homeless advocate, try to get things speeded up. So she's been very vigilant on this whole thing, and that's been making me feel better.
I work for Humboldt County Office of Education, and Art is retired, so he receives Social Security, and like we said, he's got a veterans settlement pending. We were not subsidized by the government whatsoever. It was just a local realtor agency. I found the house on Craigslist and rented it, and we had been there like almost 4 years when this happened to us. Art has been talking with the Veterans Affairs office downtown, and like he said, they are supposed to help us with a security deposit, but we haven't checked into a loan for housing. I'm not real sure if we're for that because of our age. And we're on GoFundMe.com, and the friend that signed us up for GoFundMe is checking for any other federal or state subsidies that can be sent to us if we qualify for any kind of federal money or state money to go towards having housing. She's still checking into that for me. She is on the internet, and we don't own a computer, we don't have an email address, we are relying on our friends for stuff like that. We are staying where we're at right now until Sunday, and after that we have to go probably back to our car, and we are working with several agencies. We are on the list for the MAC House. We're number 1 on the list for the MAC House here in Eureka. We've been in touch with the Betty Chin Center, and we have had, like I said, help from one of my friends checking online for stuff for us. Right now, our biggest fear is just trying to keep Dorothy safe. It's not real nice, you know, some of the places where we have to stay, and quite frankly, we have stayed in the parking lot at Kmart, and they don't say a word about it. We just park in a parking space, we keep it clean, we leave in the mornings, and we come back at night. My greatest fear is, though, more medical conditions for Art. Being out on the road, it's really stressful not having a place for him to stay and rest during the day. Dorothy is in school, and she's doing great in school. I work for Humboldt County Office of Education. I work with special needs children, and I have to be at work every morning at 7:45. So it's a little bit of a get up and get it going, trying to get to work on time and make sure that Art is taken care of during the day because he is retired. He has stayed at just the Bayshore Mall. He's been to the library. There needs to be a place for him to be able to use the facilities. And I'm worried that it's too much stress on him, and quite frankly, too much stress on me, because it seems like we're just in a hurry up and wait mode about a lot of different agencies and stuff that they're trying to provide for us.
Have your medical problems escalated since you lost the house?
Yes. For me, like I said, it escalated into me losing a toe, and I just recently, I'm recovering from a urinary tract infection from being on the street, not being able to, quite frankly, bathe every day and take care of personal hygiene. Sometimes it got to be too much, and I'm worried about infection. I'm worried about internal, sickness, and just making sure that we eat right. It's hard to eat fresh when you can't refrigerate. So, and we don't cook. So, I keep an ice chest in the car to keep drinks cold. We have milk in the ice chest, and cheese and other things that need to be refrigerated. But it's hard, and we have fresh fruit and vegetables as often as we can get them. We do receive help from Food for People here in Eureka. They've been very kind. We're able to stop in any day for bread. We have a shopping appointment once a month, and that helps subsidize whatever food we can afford. Fresh fruits and vegetables and dairy, and because it's important for me to have milk and fresh fruit and vegetables for Dorothy so that she can eat right due to her condition. Dorothy is 9 years old. She's going to be 10 in September, and she has been diagnosed recently with an underactive thyroid, and also through blood test determining the underactive thyroid, she was also diagnosed with high levels of her blood sugar was higher than it should be. So now she is taking medication for those two issues, and I need to make sure that she's kept hydrated every day. We have worked on trying to make sure that she stays hydrated and eating healthy, low sugar, high protein foods, and not a lot of processed stuff. Just a lot, try to keep it as fresh as we can, even though we're working out of our car or living out of our car or living out of a motel at some of those times. I try to make sure that she is well. She has been going to a local doctor here. We're making sure that her weight is under control, and we are taking her to the dentist, and we need to take her to have her vision checked, but that's the one thing that we haven't done. She receives Medi-Cal through the state of California for her medical issues. We're all covered now on Medi-Cal, which is really wonderful because I've been in the hospital twice this year now, and I haven't been able to pay, even on my deductible yet, but we're planning to do that just as soon as things get a little better for us. I'll be getting paid on September 30th for the first time in 4 months since I've been out with on medical leave with my foot. So.
Since you have had these experiences, have you met a lot of other people who are in the same position as you are?
Yes, ma'am, we have. It's really sad. Eureka is full of homeless people. There's a lot of people that live down by Bayshore Mall. There's a lot of people that live down behind the Del Norte dock. There's a lot of people that really need help in this town. The drug scourge of Eureka is out of control. I'd like to see some of the politicians address this. I've had a lot of people tell me that they come to Eureka because this is where it's at, for social services, and it's like there are some people like us that really qualify for these services, but there's a lot of other people that are abusing the system. They will get money and then take it and buy drugs with it, or trade their money for food, or but there's a big community of people in Eureka and surrounding area there's a lot of hopelessness. There's a lot of scary people out there, but there's a lot of good people out there too. We've met a lot of homeless people that are worse off than we are, and they are making it do. They're making do. They're not into drugs, and they're not into alcohol. They're not into the gambling or any of that, and they're doing the best they can. But like I said, it's kind of scary out there because there's a lot of people that are just waiting to rip you off and take advantage of you.
What could Eureka do to address this problem?
I know that jobs in Eureka are kind of few and far between. There's to me, I think that Eureka needs to embrace light industry so that people can get a decent paying job. I've noticed that, it's fishing and timber, and I've lived in Eureka for over 25 years now. And I come from North Carolina, where there's lots of industry. And I know that Eureka would benefit greatly from some kind of light industry, something that could be easily transported in and out of Eureka. I know that, the roads coming in and out of Eureka or through the redwoods are kind of treacherous, but I know that it can be done because I've heard that it's been done in rural areas. I know, Eureka's population is, I guess, less than 30,000, so. But it's just, there's so many people that don't have jobs in this town, and there's just not enough jobs to go around. I would wish and hope that the elected officials in this town really address the homeless issue and how it relates to older people and younger people that are caught up in being homeless like we are due to the actions of others.
Well, I agree with Sharon about the light industry. I've talked to people, about computer chips, Silicon Valley. What is wrong with bringing that up here? And the question, or some of the answers I get, is that, Eureka is not, they're anti-business. They don't like, they want to keep the, under the guise of, environmental friendly, which is questionable, but they're afraid for one reason or another maybe to bring it in. Mm-hmm. And they ought to bring it in because it would create a lot of jobs. I don't see the problem. I mean, it's been in other communities where they brought computer chips and things of that nature in to supplement, because fishing and timber, and I used to work for a timber company as a security guard. I'll give the name Security Pacific, for almost 22 years. And we had our share, they had their share of problems with Redwood Summer back in the 90s, although that was focused more on the Simpson Timber Company. It was a big protest and all that about 90 or 91. But I had to go over there as a security guard to kind of watch out for anything. I remember people coming in, and there was a little demonstration, Sierra Pacific, where people came across the bridge and they picketed and all that. They got television exposure, and then most of them left maybe at noon, but the hardcore, agitators and maybe so-called professionals stayed a little longer than they left because everybody was happy. They got TV time and made their point, and so on. But I really think light industry, like I'm using the example of computer chips, and I don't know everything that can be done, but that would be my 2 cents.
It's hard to know that a child would do this to their parent. I didn't raise her to be the way I know she is right now. She's just been influenced by just the scourge. That's all I know how to say is the scourge of Eureka. And it's killing so many young people way too soon. And I don't want that to happen to my daughter. It's hard right now because we don't know where she's at. We don't even know if she's in the area. She hasn't been in touch with us, like I said, since February. And it's scary for me to know that she's out there doing whatever. I'm just not sure what she's doing right now, but I certainly wouldn't want this to happen to any other family, that she affects their family like she's affected her own. I would hope that, she is getting better. I want her to get better. I want her to be a part of her daughter's life again. But Art and I have to protect her. And we'll protect her against anyone, even her own mother, for as long as we need to. We love her so much. We love our daughter. And we just hope and pray that she will soon get better, get some help, get into rehab if she needs to get into rehab, try to get her life together so that she can be proud of her life. She's the only one that can do it, though. She is responsible for herself. She's 31 years old now, and we can't help her right now because we can barely help ourselves.
I want to thank you for having the courage to share your pain and to share what's gone on in your family with the public. And it's especially important now because your story is common. I wish I could say that it wasn't, but it seems as though we came out of an era a generation ago of a difficult life when the fellows came home from the war and everybody was lucky to be alive and have a family, and they worked hard, and it was a sense of pride not to have their hand out for anything. Mm-hmm. Then those same loving parents decided to give their children the life they never had. Mm-hmm. And those children grew up expecting the entitlement of that life. Mm-hmm. Instead of being grateful for it, they were angry when they didn't get more. Mm-hmm. And they were angry when they didn't get more because most of us went and cleaned up the bedroom for them instead of made them clean it up. Mm-hmm. We gave them the things that they didn't earn. We did not know what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We did not realize that we were enabling them instead of making them responsible. Mm-hmm. And when they got ready to face the world, they weren't ready to face the world because they'd never had to. Mm-hmm. They had never had to be responsible for their own life, ever. Mm-hmm. And it was too much to deal with. So instead of saying, thank you, Mom and Dad, they were pretty mad at Mom and Dad for giving up their job of the free ride. Yeah. Because they didn't know how to deal with life. Mm-hmm. And as hard as it is for you now The kindest thing you can do for your daughter is let her experience the cause and effect of her own behavior. Protect your beautiful granddaughter to the best of your ability as you are, but let her experience it, because until she does and she learns to deal with it, she'll never really grow up.
No.
And that's what the problem is. And the problem is nationwide, it's not yours alone. But the reality is, we as a generation enabled instead of made them responsible, because we didn't know what we were doing. And we did it in love.
Well, we try to stay as positive as we can with Dorothy. It gets kind of hard because, you know, she's really been affected by this. She doesn't have a father in her life. She hasn't had a father in her life since the first year. And quite frankly, I never thought that my daughter would abandon her like she has. But I realize that my daughter is sick. She's sick right now. And if you see this, I want you to know that we love you so much. We love you, but we need for you to get well and stay well so that you can hopefully be a part of our lives again. We do love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having the courage to share your pain and what has gone on in your own personal family. Educating others really helps. You're brave. Thank you.